This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Roman Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
This is Roman Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience, Episode 10, How to Hire the Perfect Employee. Well, that's a daunting task, in my opinion, and I found it super hard. Previous roles, I've spent sometimes months looking for somebody to even qualify for a role. But, it's not impossible. So what do you actually look for? Stop looking at things like gaps in employment, overqualification, even underqualification, some projects that somebody may have off the books or a personal portfolio may trump some professional experience, formal professional experience. So some of the things you should look for are hustle, because you can't really train or learn how to hustle. It's either you have it or you don't. You go hard or you don't. Some people kind of just get by, but that's fine. But truly having a passion, doing anything you can to achieve your goal is, embodies the word hustle. Another thing is drive. So not everybody has kind of that drive and passion to pursue a career. A lot of people have drive to get a paycheck and just do their job, but not necessarily a career. Creativity is important in every role. So if you're not creative, you can't really solve the tough problems or figure out ways to bypass things or improve processes if you're not creative, and use what you have in terms of your means to achieve your goal. Passion, if you're not passionate in general in life, you're not going to get really far. But if the person is passionate about their skill set, about their previous jobs, they're passionate about what you have to offer in terms of the available role in your company, then they'll continue that passion with you. Being humble and selfless. So that's not necessarily taught either. So sometimes people come in very smart, very large egos, will not work with others, will not take constructive criticism, and those people often are toxic to a team. And even though they may be the smartest person, they will possibly destroy the team and the culture in your company. And other things like knowledge base, understanding who they are, what they want out of the role, and what they have to deliver. It's very important too. But oftentimes I see internal HR people as well as outside recruiters just solely focus on paper in terms of the specific keywords looked at for the qualifications or the job description, the matchup in their little database. Nothing is really read. They don't care about things like you may be super qualified and applying for a job that, you should ideally get, but in their eyes, you're overqualified. I don't think there's a thing called overqualified. I think it's just the hiring manager or the person that you would be reporting to being scared for the role, that you're actually smarter and have a lot more to bring to the role than they do, and they feel like their job is threatened. So oftentimes that cripples organizations. Somebody comes in very smart, somebody gets threatened, and then that person gets let go because essentially they possess so much knowledge that, they would take out some of the people over time that were above them. And those people a lot of times aren't even looked at or hired because, they're too smart, they're too much of a threat. I don't see that as a viable hiring strategy, because you should always surround yourself with smarter people or people smarter than you, and things that you may not be good at or your strengths. Surround very smart people that are actually well equipped in those areas to propel your company or your brand to the next level. Because ego's gonna crush a company, ego's gonna crush a team, but the knowledge of somebody is super smart, they know what they're doing, they can work on their own is very important. And there's other things as well, but don't look at age. Don't obviously look at if it's a male or woman, because some of those archaic things are still being looked at. And don't look at gaps in employment. So there's a lot of examples where people get sick or take care of family members. So like I said, gaps aren't a bad thing, just understanding what the explanation is. And majority of the time it's a good one, and actually demonstrates that that person actually took the time to take care of a family member, to take care of a situation and better it, and it shows responsibility and character. But a lot of people see a year gap, 2 years gap, don't even bother talking to the person, even though that person may be well more qualified than any other candidate, solely because there's a gap. Well, I hate to break it to you, life happens. So if you're just simply looking on a resume to see, oh, there's 6 months, a year gap, then you may not really be getting to know the candidate. And why would you even hire somebody, or why would somebody want to work for you if you're not doing the due diligence? If you're expecting a candidate to learn more about your company and your culture, you better know everything about the candidate as well. But other than that, you have to understand what that person actually knows, and not only what they know, what they've learned over time. Because they can know a specific skill set or a knowledge base, but if they haven't redefined it or actually learned more and more over time, then their complacency may not be the right situation for that role you have available. It's important for somebody to keep learning, keep redefining. For every role. Even if your role is super mundane, like you're hammering a nail, there's still different ways, there's still better ways of doing it, there's other tools, there's other methods. And you should always be thinking about how you can keep improving yourself and keep revolutionizing and reinventing yourself, because being complacent is death in career and anything else in your life. So honestly, finding a well-rounded person is really, really hard, but it's not impossible. But if you're looking for some of these out-of-the-box characteristics, you may be better off than just looking for somebody that looks good on paper and you're just checking boxes off. So regardless if you're hiring for a digital marketing role, a sales role, an IT role, PR, HR, what have you, just look at some of these things and just think about it. In the back of your mind, understand that people are human. People do have feelings, people have situations. So really understand the person, what makes the person tick, what kind of personality they have. Do they connect with other people at your company? And this whole thing of company culture is, are they a right fit? It's not, are they a right fit? It's, are you a right fit for them? Because that person is bringing their own creativity. Now, you don't want everybody like a robot. You think your company culture is one thing. Well, if you're only looking for people to fit that mold, you're going to lose a lot of creative people and people that are actually genuine, because you have this, criteria to check off. Like, well, that person has to be into XYZ. Well, no. If that person does his job, they're a good human being, they're caring, they're compassionate, they forward your business, help it grow, they keep growing at the same time, they meet all their goals, then why not hire somebody a little, let's say, weird or a little bit out of the box that don't necessarily fit your culture or your ideal person in the workplace? As long as they have emotional IQ and they can get the job done, why not? So people are so politically correct at this point, it's just like a little ridiculous with things like that. So, I'm going to say how it is. So, tune into other episodes. This episode was kind of just inspired about some of the things I thought about recently. But majority of the episodes are going to be about digital marketing or anything you guys call in or write in about, possibly getting guests you guys may want to talk about in digital marketing or anything else. So just shoot me an email, contact me on social media and ask me. Feel free to ask any questions or any topics you may want to hear in this podcast. Take care, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.